Alright, it is 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the Monday, March 23rd, 2026 regular meeting of Williamston City Council to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Helen.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Haynes?
Here.
Jenkins? Van Offer?
Here.
Rhines?
Here.
Gilroy? Hanson?
And we did hear from Councilman Jenkins and Mayor Gilroy that they couldn't be here tonight, so if we could entertain a motion to excuse them.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no one. We're looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Now we've come to tonight's first audience participation. Does anyone have anything like for audience participation? Seeing none, we'll move on. We are looking for approval of the minutes from March 9th, 2026, unless there's anything that needs to be changed.
Move to approve meeting minutes of March 9th, 2026.
We have a second. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes. Terry, Councilman Hanson, over to you for accounts payable.
What happened to all that money? Okay, I've got a couple of things to point out on this, and I ask for your guidance on this. Here at the end, you're going to ask us to talk about meetings that we went to in the last week and report on them. I went to a NISA meeting and I want to report on the NISA meeting, and I also want to do a quick compare and contrast between our accounts payable and NISA accounts payable. I don't think this is the best time. I think I should wait till the end of the
Why don't we
meeting.
wait and do that
At the
when
end.
we do our accounts payable now, because that's when we have our agenda item is for that. And then when we get to committee, subcommittee reports, we can discuss the compare and contrast thing.
Okay, good. So for this week, the ad valorem, which is to say the money that we paid to other government units, was 55% of our budget, grand total. I had a question for City Manager John Hannafin about, well, why is it that we keep paying? We don't, my property tax, I pay it once in the spring, once in the fall. Income tax, I pay it one time. But this tax, sort of to these other government units, it's like every 2 weeks we've got another tax thing. And the city treasurer explained that the way that works is we collect that money and it doesn't belong to us. And therefore we have to disperse it as quickly as we get it in. And that's why there's these ad valorem things that happen pretty much. I think they're gonna happen more at the beginning of the year, but then they're gonna taper off after that. But they've been happening every 2 weeks.
It's most likely as you get your winter tax bill, you're going to be paying those up. And then again in the summer, because it's, as you stated, it's as you come in. Or as the money comes in, we have to pay it up.
Yes, okay, so that was the 55%, which is going down from the 70s and 80s and 90s, which it was before. The smallest receipt was $3.29 at the local hardware store. The one thing that galls me continually is HydroCorp. We spent $3,000 on HydroCorp. HydroCorp has come to my house and inspected me for feedback in the water system, and it was just pointless. And it just irks me that we pay that much money, but as John has pointed out, it's state mandated.
What do you mean it's pointless?
They come in and they make sure that you don't have a hydro pump in your basement.
We should probably just approve or not approve the accounts payable and
I'm sorry.
yeah.
We're looking for the motion on the, if you're done, instead of discussing whether or not we like HydroCorp or not,
Yeah,
pointing out how much money we pay them is fine, but we should probably not debate, not go into too many, that's not the time of what we're doing right now. We actually just reapproved the contract for them.
Yes, so I'd like to make a motion to approve checks 78390 to 78957, EFT 2158 and ACH 2134 through 2181 for a total of $157,835.58.
Second.
Do you have any discussion? Seeing none, Holly, roll call please.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
All right, moving on to action items. Our first action item is the application for and permit for sale of alcohol during Jubilee down at Dahlstrom Park. We'll pass this over to City Manager Hannafin.
Thank you. We have two actions that we're requesting tonight. One is to approve the permit for sale and consumption of alcohol at Howard Dahlstrom Park for Red Cedar Jubilee for June 20th, and then also June 24th through the 27th. And then approve the liquor control resolution authorizing the application for the special license for Red Cedar Jubilee for the same dates. This is something that you see annually for the Red Cedar Jubilee. For alcohol to be sold or consumed in the parks outside of the social district, it requires permission by city council and approval by the state liquor commission. So, happy to answer any questions you may have. Again, the resolution is fairly standard. Police
Yeah,
Chief
I have-
Weiss can also answer any questions you might have as well.
Yeah, I have a question about why there's two of them. It looks like the one from the Michigan would be something they would be approving, not us.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
why are we approving?
Yeah, so two things. One, in order for anyone, council first has to grant their permission to allow alcohol to be consumed or sold in the park. And then, so that's our
That's
own
the
permission.
permit, okay.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And then the liquor control, because Red Cedar Jubilee is not a bricks and mortar liquor establishment, nonprofits have up to 12 special licenses that they can apply for every year, and it has to go through this process.
Okay,
So Rotary, for example, Friends of Williamston Parks, if they're, when they become an incorporated 501c3, they could make the same request for a special event
but
license.
the liquor commission is approving as well.
Correct, yes.
So what do they base their approval on? Like, why would they say no?
Yeah, Chief, can you answer that?
I can. So they base their approval on quite a few things, actually. The hours that they put in for, the hours of sale, the fencing that you have up, you have to have signage that alcohol cannot be taken out of the, outside of the establishment or outside of the tent, if you will. So there's different criteria that they have to meet for the Liquor Control Commission.
And let's say there were issues of prior
I was
years,
just gonna
and then they
ask
can look back and go, oh, well, there were a lot of problems at your event last year, why would we approve it this year?
Okay.
We've not had those issues with Jubilee, but those are all things that the Liquor Control Commission can look at.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions, any other discussion? And we're looking for that first motion.
Make a motion to approve the permit for sale and consumption of alcohol in Howard Dahlstrom Memorial Park at Red Cedar Jubilee for the dates of 20 June and 24 to 27 June 2026.
Second,
Roll call please, Holly.
Rhines,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes,
Motion passes, so we're looking for that second motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Liquor Control Commission resolution authorizing the application for a special license for the Red Cedar Jubilee on June 20 and June 24 to 27, 2026.
second,
Roll call please, Holly.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes,
Rhines,
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we're gonna head back over to City Manager Hanson again, and we're looking at a Jubilee fireworks approval.
Again, another annual item that I'm happy to bring for tonight. The Jubilee is again, wants to have a fireworks show. It's really a highlight of the summer now, and that's on Saturday, June 27th. So city council approval is requested to allow the use of consumer fireworks in Howard Dahlstrom Park. And Saturday, June 27th, as the Jubilee will be taking place that weekend. So, any questions you may have, I'd be happy to answer those.
No questions? All good, all right, then we're looking for the motion.
Make a motion to approve the request from Red Cedar Jubilee for Great Lakes Fireworks LLC to have fireworks at the Howard Dahlstrom Memorial Park in Williamston on Saturday, June 27, 2026, as part of the Red Cedar Jubilee, with notification made to NISA.
Second.
Roll call, please, Holly.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Ames,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes. It's very good that we start seeing these things coming forward for Jubilee. That's always a big highlight of our summer. One quick note. I know starting last year, the Derby was on a different day than it had been traditionally. That's why it's going to be that way again. It's going to be that Saturday preceding the full week of events. And that's why when you looked at the request for dates for serving liquor in Hollywood Dahlstrom Park, there was the one standalone date. Whereas last year, they did not have the food and beverage stand open on that day. This year, they are looking to have it open, and the Derby will still be on that Saturday before, they'll be kicking off the week instead of ending the week. Moving forward, we are now on to garage and rummage sale ordinance. We've discussed this probably over the last year, year and a half, a couple times during council, at some of our goal setting workshops and different things like that. So we should have this somewhat on our radar, but we're gonna pass it over to City Manager Hanfin, and he can give us an overview.
Yeah, thank you. We talked about this at our last two strategic planning sessions from last fiscal year and then the one session we had about a month ago. And we talked about the garage sale ordinance, that currently the city doesn't have anything in either our zoning ordinance or our general code concerning garage sales. So what I did is did some research on, they're not all in Ingham County, some of them are in neighboring counties like Fowlerville, but communities that are close by to us or close to us in demographics or size. And all of those communities have some level of ordinance. They typically allow up to 3 garage sales in a year. They're kind of, there's a range of how many days they allow. Usually it's between 3 and 4 days at any one sale. Also, one of the common themes is not using the right of way, and that's the sidewalk and then the area from the sidewalk to the curb line. So and the other thing, and that is highlighted in this proposed text language for you. Probably needs some final cleanup if council wants to move forward. But the other thing is the prohibition of signs and utility poles and then the public rights of way. Actually, the signs in the right of way are, and again, that's that area between the sidewalk and the curb. Those signs in that area are prohibited by ordinance already, but folks still tend to put signs there, and periodically we go and pick those up and tell people we've got their sign and they're welcome to come get them here at City Hall. So happy to answer any questions you may have. The action item would be to direct staff to draft the first draft of the ordinance using language that all of you decide on tonight, and then bring that back to council at the first meeting.
So what I would like to do is, because I know this is the first time as an action item we've discussed this, and what's here in front of us is language that staff has brought forward that we can work off of. There's also this nice grid that staff has given us with the different things from like Lansing, Mason, Charlotte. What I would like to do is, if we can go around, see how everyone thinks of the language that's here now, what people might want to change. One thing I would like to point out before we start that is, as we've discussed previously, we're not, a hammer looking for a nail here. The reason that this has come up is because we have had complaints brought to the city about the overusage of garage sales, rummage sales, yard sale, whatever you would like to call it, at some residences, and that's why we're bringing this up, not because we just want to start a new ordinance and wander around and check out garage sales. When we start down here with Councilman Haynes, do you have anything you would like to add? Any tweaks you'd like to make to this language?
I'm very comfortable with the wording. The only thing that kind of stood out, it seems to be a little stringent on the items cannot be stored outside overnight, before or after.
Yeah, that means that if it's a 3-day sale, you could store the stuff overnight in between the date of the sale, right? But not before.
The way I'm reading it is that, like, say you start your sale on Friday, you gotta bring it out of your house Friday morning and put it up. It can remain out of the house on display until Sunday.
Right.
Sunday being the third day of the sale, it then has to go back in the house at the end of the day on Sunday. Is that the intent of that?
Yeah, that was the intent. We can make sure in the proposed first draft that that's what the language, it more clearly lays that out.
So we're not trying to force them to bring them in every.
Correct.
So
To continue,
Sorry.
I think it's a little stringent that they can't put their stuff out at 8 o'clock at night for a yard sale.
For the next day.
So I'd like to see it tweaked in some
I
fashion.
kind of agreed with that idea that they should be able to put it out one day ahead of the sale.
Yeah, that's my thought.
You can
I
set
agree with
up.
that, too.
So we can work on cleaning up some of that language. Do you have?
I can go along with that, but then, yeah, other than that, this language sounds good. Glad to see it coming
Yeah,
out.
that was my question too, is like, if that's the-
What's the language on that? Do you have
Yeah, I mean,
anything,
I'm
Scott?
comparing this to what the guy around the corner from me does, who has, you know, he's one of these guys that buys like the TV guy buys the things and, you know, and then the stuff he puts out there is really interesting. It's like not typical, it's not typical, it's like very interesting. So, and I know he does put stuff in the area between the sidewalk and the street, just saying you can't do that. I mean, that seems okay to me. The 3 things, I would prefer if it was 4 times a year, but I would still vote yes on 3, and I would prefer 4.
Does anyone else, I wouldn't have a problem with 4. You know, 4 is basically once quarterly. You know, I think what we're looking to accomplish here is we're not trying to make it so no one can have a garage sale. We just don't want the same people having a garage sale every day, 300 days out of the year.
Right, because it's a business.
Then it's a business instead of you selling grandma's couch.
I could do 4.
You could do 4.
That's once a month
Does-
for the summer, that would be fine.
Does anyone have an issue with 4? No, so right now what we're talking about tweaking is going from 3 times per calendar year to 4 times per calendar year and allowing set up the day before the sale. Is that what we're hearing?
Do you have any idea how Tammy would feel about this? Would she have anything to add to this?
I think she would be fine with it, and this is just directing staff to come forward with a first draft, and we'll have to approve the first draft and the second draft, so by then, she'll be back and we'll be able to have input.
Do we need to tweak after, we've got before covered the day before, what about the day after? So if they're gonna wrap it up, let's say, and then they have the next day to clean everything up, like they have the same time to put everything out before.
Yeah, we could do one day after too.
We can put our heads together and craft something next week.
I think I think we're giving a good enough framework that Council Perone and City Manager Hannafin can come
I
back.
was just going to suggest, so that you know right now, that it would say items cannot be stored outside overnight more than 1 day before or
Or
1 day after the sale.
that would make sense.
It clarifies it, and it indicates, yes, you can have a sale, and you haven't touched on the 3 consecutive days, but if that's going to remain, then that's the sale, and the storage outside can occur the day before or overnight. And again, this is also just overnight. So that means you can set it up the day before, but you can't have the sale. It can be stored overnight, and then you can start first thing in the morning, take it to the 3rd day till late at night, and then you're done. And then you clean it up the next day without having a sale.
Right.
I believe we're doing 3 days, but 4 times a year, to
Yep.
answer your
Oh,
question.
gotcha,
one
okay.
time.
Okay.
You would be allowed that 4th day would be set up. You can set up, let's say, I'm just using because it's over the weekend, your 3 days would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You could set up on Thursday.
Take it on Monday.
My, one question I have is I know we don't have any any mention of needing a permit, and I don't think we need to do that process, but my only question would be, are we relying on basically the neighbors, our patrolling police officers as they're driving around noticing, hey, this seems like they've had a garage sale 10 times this year, maybe is that the thought, or what is our thought?
Well, I think there's a couple of ways, there's really there's a strata, right? There's to rely on, staff, and that's everybody, that's DPW, myself, the police department to, I guess, eyeball it. There's the call city hall when you're having, one of the communities does that, and then there's the permit process. I would tend to lean towards the first one, but council thinks we need to do something beyond that, we could do that, or we could try the first way, through the first, this will be the first rummage sale season coming up. And if it's a success, great, if not, if we need a permit process, then we could always amend the ordinance for that.
I think personally, we can look at this the same way we have the the golf cart ordinance, is that I personally don't see us as needing a permit, but we can always tweak this as we go, and if we go, well, we're having a hard time keeping track, or we're having people pushing back because we're not officially keeping, we can tweak that later, that's my thought.
How is somebody just gonna go by and notice garage sales happening and stuff's out, then they're gonna have so many days, you know what I mean? I guess you're gonna go up and notify them, hey, you see your stuff's out here, you got, this amount of time, blah, blah, and if you don't catch it, then it could go 5. So how, I was gonna be on garage sale patrol, I think.
Most people are pretty diligent about letting us know if their neighbors haven't cut their grass in a reasonable amount of time, so having a sale on their lawn, next door down the street, they'll be, I'm sure they'll let us know.
I think that works. Do we have anything else we wanna?
So we don't need a yard sales czar
I don't think
in the office of the
are.
city manager.
Are we, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking for a motion.
Okay, make a motion to direct the staff to complete the first draft of an ordinance to regulate garage, rummage, and other types of yard sales, to provide the first reading at the April 13th, 2026 council meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please, Holly.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
All right, motion passes. So now, we are on to the Putnam Street Bridge Grant application for fiscal year 2029. Back.
Thanks, I know that seems like a long time from now, but I've got grant cycles, it's not. So the local bridge program for the out year 2029 is currently open. We have to have the application to MDOT by the end of this month, March. So there is a resolution attached, but essentially what it does is that it commits the city to a 5% match for preventative maintenance on the bridge. The total estimated project cost in the scope of work would be epoxy sealing, concrete joints, maintenance of the deck of the bridge, work underneath, any kind of like tuck pointing and things like that on the bridge. The total estimated cost is approximately $100,000. Our contribution would be 5% of that, so about $5,000. And that is adjusted for inflation. So if council is interested in the pursuit of these funds to help us pay for the maintenance of that bridge, the resolution is attached and presented for your discussion.
How long do you think it'll take to do this? Is it a year-long thing, 6 months?
No, I think the actual work, I mean, and we'd be able to maintain the bridge, keep the bridge open. I mean, that's really the critical point, and that was when discussing with Spicer, like, what does this exactly mean? What does this mean for us as far as, because we all know the hardship with the with Putnam Street being closed, and then prior to that, about 10 years ago, I think, when the bridge was redone, and it was closed, so we'd avoid that. So a matter of maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but that would be the total scope of work. That wouldn't be, 2 or 3 weeks on fixing the actual surface on that.
But you said that one lane will be open?
We'll maintain
Or
traffic,
whatever.
yes.
That sounds much better than us not doing this and then you have to close the bridge completely.
Correct.
Is
So
anyone-
every 10 years or so? You said it was done about 10 years ago?
No, so 10
Every year.
20 years ago or so, the whole bridge was rebuilt.
Yeah.
And now it's time to do some things where we're like fixing up the
So this is
brick.
plain-
And
plain
this is
maintenance.
preventative maintenance.
So the planned maintenance happens about every 10 years?
It's actually, it's more frequent than that.
Yeah.
We're required by law, because it is a bridge over a body of water, we're required to have it inspected a minimum of every 2 years. And we have to have a certified inspector, to come and look at the bridge, both that bridge and also the Wallace Street Bridge, and then make a report and provide the report to the MDOT critical bridge section. And so, it's the right time to do this maintenance, so, as the Mayor Pro Tem said, so we're not having to replace the bridge sooner than, and if we maintain it, like, we can get many, many, many years out of the bridge, and none of us will have to be around to see a full replacement, so.
Does it always come to the point where it has to be replaced, or does the maintenance keep it going permanently?
That's the, you know, the $5,000 match question, right? I mean, we hope so. Again, 20 years ago, the bridge was redone. What was the time period before that? In the 70s when the dam broke?
Probably.
Yeah. So you're hopeful to get 30 or 40 years, maybe 50.
To me, this is a no-brainer, 5%,
Yeah,
$5,000 out of
$5,000.
100,000.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and, let's,
Make a motion? Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution for local bridge program 2029 funding request for North Putnam Street Bridge.
Second.
Holly, roll call, please.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Motion passes, and now we are on to state and local cyber security grant program. Believe we heard about some of these grants at our last meeting, but now I think we have to officially approve them, but now, are you taking this one, or is?
Treasurer has his.
So Treasurer Mead is going to fill us in on this.
Thank you. Yeah, in 2024, late 2024, we were notified that there was some funding available through Michigan State Police Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division for cybersecurity. So in talking with our IT department, they identified 3 areas that were critical to enhance our security. We applied for those 3 areas, the funding on those 3 areas. And in 2025, they notified us that they awarded us for one of them. And unfortunately, it was the lower one. And council did approve that in October of 25, and that was for switching our domain name from the, it will essentially be a .gov domain, so, which is supposed to be more secure than our current mi.us domain. To our surprise, then they came back just recently with a second round of awards, and we were selected for the other 2 grants, which are more costly things to implement, so we were happy that to see that we were selected for those. One is for a multi-factor authentication system, which in the meantime, while this was going on, the police department was going through their lien audit, and we knew from what they were telling us through the lien audit that this was gonna be a requirement that we would have to do regardless whether we had the funding, the grant funding or not. The lien does require it, and the chief can jump in if he feels necessary. Anyhow, that works, but the other piece of it was for an enhanced backup system. So in a sense, we had the 17,000 approved last year. Now we've got an additional 87,874, $87,874 awarded to us for this multi-factor authentication and an enhanced backup system. So at this point, we're just asking council for approval of those grant agreements so that we can move forward with those.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I asked the attorney about this before the meeting was going. The applicant, the form itself, the grant is like 3 or 4 pages, but it's followed by about 12 pages of requirements that, you know, that the feds give and the feds take away, right? Federal money always comes with attachments, with strings, you know? And I'm wondering, has anybody actually read all those pages and pages of requirements?
Yeah,
You have, I know this is drug-free workplace, yada, yada.
these are, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, these, very typical for federal money, regardless, it's kinda odd with federal, sometimes it doesn't really matter if it's a really small grant or a really large grant. A lot of these requirements are the same, so honestly, we've had to go through a lot of this on the grants that we had earlier from, some of the street projects that we went through, so we've actually already made sure, I mean, we're in compliance with a lot of it already, and we've actually had a little help from an audit firm to make sure that we have the policies and stuff in place that were required, so, yeah, they do throw a lot of requirements at you, but nothing we haven't done through before.
So you've looked through this too, Chief?
I have, in fact, in my previous career, at the sheriff's office, being the emergency manager for Homeland Security Emergency Management, I administered numerous grants like this, and I know Mr. Perone's firm is very familiar with them, as they also were the law firm for the county, so it's typical, they're on every grant that they administer.
Boilerplate stuff?
Yep.
Okay, not to worry.
No Indiana bats will be displaced as a result of receiving this grant. I'm happy to report that. That's always a big one.
Do we have any other questions? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion to accept the state and local cybersecurity grants awarded to the city in the amount of $87,874.
Second.
Roll call, please, Helen.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Motion passes. It's always good to see some of our federal tax dollars coming back to the city, things that we need. That's great. Let's keep up. The staff's doing a great job applying for and going for these grants, and that is always good to see.
So did we go looking for this, or did it just kind of show up in the mail?
Our IT department were notified us that it was available, and it actually came in at quite a short deadline, so we kind of really had to cram to get an application put together and submitted, but.
Okay, the process there. Just curious.
Moving on to discussion items, we've completed our action items this evening. Main 4 safety improvements, do we have anything?
Not a lot to add here. The only thing, you know, on the grant topic, did have a meeting with Spicer Group after our last meeting, or the construction, one of the pre-design meetings with MDOT. Spicer said there is funding available for some of our safety improvements on North and South Putnam. So we deadline for that is May of this year. So I'm working with Spicer to see if it makes sense, if there's if our projects would qualify for that. So.
Would that be, because I know we've talked about a few different things there, some of it would be MDOT paying for, some things that we would have to pay for. Would those be grants for, like I know we've talked about the special pattern painting on the, is that more of what we're talking about?
Correct.
Going the grant for the grant for?
Absolutely, yeah. It would be the program, the fundamental basis for the program is improve safety at intersections, and so it would be under that program.
Okay.
It's just making sure that our program or our project would be a fit, and what the match would be, and what strings we may have, so.
Makes sense.
So this report from MDOT says that they're okay with the road diet thing that goes from Mechanic to Block, which is, Block is where the lake is out there. So from Dahlstrom Park out to the lake, that's what they want to do. Yeah. So
Just want to be careful about when we bring up road diets, where we stand with MDOT, we had made the request to add turn lanes on east and westbound Grand River, and they are not keen to that idea unless there's road diet from our eastern edge of the city limit to roughly Mechanic Street. But that's still not a firm yes. They did, however, say on North and South Putnam,
Yeah.
you know, lots of luck, and we, you know, you have our, well, it wasn't an endorsement, you have our.
Indifference.
Yeah, indifference, yes, thank you,
We've been granted indifference.
thank you.
So how about it? Are we gonna take care of North and South Putnam?
Yeah, and,
Right
so-
turn, left turn?
yeah, absolutely, and we talked at, I think it was the last meeting, or at the visioning session, that the first project first, and that's the mast arm project for the signals, and so that'll take place, and we don't wanna put any treatments on North and South Putnam that'll just be disrupted by MDOT, so once we have, and our, that project is still, it's an either or. MDOT's fiscal year is different than ours, they're October 1 to September 30, and they may do this project this summer, or they may do it in spring of 2027,
So
the signal project.
even though they've somewhat given their blessing for Putnam, kind of sort of given their blessing for Putnam, we're still working with them on Grand River, and we're still waiting to find out exactly when they'll be putting those new mast arms in. So there's still a lot in motion, including what you brought up with how far out the turn lanes would have to go. And we went through that very large process with MDOT previously about that, and it didn't work out. So let's be a little circumspect on how we discuss some of that right now. Do we have, anyone else have any other?
Yeah, I actually have a general question about MDOT, because you've been in the city for a long time. In general, does what they recommend make sense?
Do they recommend what?
For traffic, I mean, there's a, choosing my words carefully. So traffic engineers, like, their original mission was to get people as quick as they can in a safe amount of speed from point A to point B. And that was mission one. And then, typically when folks, like, we if there's concerns about, this is where it's, like, as people who have to live in, you know, every day and interface with residents and businesses about decisions that are made by a traffic engineer, whatever a speed, if people are saying someone's driving too fast on a state highway, they increase the speed. So, when it gets to the 85% threshold, the safety manual for traffic engineering says, if it's 45, too many people are driving over 45, 85% or more, you should increase the speed of the road.
Oh,
So that's sort of a, like, it's sort of in conflict with what we would think, like, for
Right,
safety and
right.
common sense, but again, from a traffic perspective, it's to get people as fast as they can in a safe manner from point A to point B.
right.
As far as the decisions that they make, I would say over the 30 years I've been doing this, they've gotten a lot better about, I guess, managing people's expectations and reaching out and doing community impact and interfacing with the community. And they did come when we had our discussion about the road diet and talk about that. But I mean, sometimes some of the decisions are made they can seem somewhat counter to what a local community would want to see.
And where that circles back around to a discussion we started earlier, when you're talking about all the documents you go through for a grant. Some of these programs, with any other government entity, you look at, okay, this is what we're getting, this is what we have to give up, and then is it worthwhile? Which is what we went through a couple of years ago. Do we have anything else? Okay, moving on. City manager report, do you have anything to add?
No, I just, thank you, we had other than planning, I think all our boards and committees have met in March, and the next, kind of whenever there's 5 Mondays, there's a little bit of a break from night meetings. The next meeting that the city will have will be the planning commission meeting on that first Tuesday in April. And then expect a full slate of meetings, planning, TIFA board, DDA, parks, and then 2 city council meetings in April. ZBA is the only one that won't meet because we have to.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on. Chief, do you have anything tonight?
The only thing that I would have to add is we went live with our new policy system through Lexipol, which we purchased. You're kind enough to allow funding for last year. It was almost a year-long process, but it's done. It's a very professional policy system that's backed up by Lexipol and case law and best practices. Went live with no issues thus far, so. And I guess in the law enforcement world, it's may not seem a big deal, but it is.
So can you elaborate just a little bit on what a policy system is?
Sure.
Is that where you have your internal rules, regulations, where
Yep.
everyone can see it, or
Yep.
what is that?
Historically, we had a policy book, and there were written policies, and they were updated pretty much based on chief. So some of our policies were pretty antiquated. So we saw a need to update our policies and rewrite them, if you will, using up-to-date case law and best practices. So we searched out a group that does that, and it's the same group that does our training, our annual training for professional standards, and it's called Lexipol. And they're backed up by a team of attorneys, a team of experts, and they actually have a set of model policies all the way from pursuit driving, use of force, use of deadly force, every policy imaginable. And they offer that to you, and then you meld it, your department needs, based on federal law, state law, best practice, and discretionary items. So now it's on a cloud, if you will. It's called KMS, Knowledge Management System. Each officer has a username, password. They log in, they receive any updates, they acknowledge that they received that update, and it's all on the computer instead of a written manual.
That sounds great. Sounds very streamlined. Whenever there's any updates, goes directly to them. You're not
It does.
handing out paper, all that.
And what's exciting for me anyway is that Lexipol has a team of attorneys and team of experts that constantly, on a day-to-day basis, reviews case law that comes out almost weekly on some sort of law enforcement decision, whether it be search and seizure, use of force, anything. And they monitor that and they push out those updates to us.
That's great.
Will it be augmented with AI in the near future?
I don't know what Lexipol does,
I think that's coming.
but it's a very good system.
Do we have?
I was at the
anything else?
dentist today, they used AI in the x-ray. They take the x-ray and then they submit that to AI, and it gives you these colored things. I've never seen this before.
Wow.
So the gal, when she's cleaning my teeth, she's watching on the thing over here. The AI tells her what teeth to be careful with and stuff like that. I was shocked. So I'm sure.
I'm sure at some point that will enter into there, but we'll figure that out in the future. Do we have any other questions for Chief? Nope. Seeing none. All right. Treasurer Mead, do you have anything for us tonight?
Not a lot, other than I will maybe just do a little clarification on, you mentioned that when we were talking accounts payable earlier on the ad valorem, just bear in mind the state law prevents local municipalities from collecting any real property taxes after February 28th unless it's, like in this case, it fell on the weekend, so we were able to collect through Monday, March 2nd. But generally, after February 28th, we would not collect any real property taxes, so you will not be seeing, that's why there's always a period in the year where you don't see the property tax disbursements, because they all have to be paid at the county from that point on until the new summer bills go out in January or July 1, and then it starts all over again. So just provide a little clarification on how that works from our disbursements from July 1 through February 28th, or a week or so after, as we settle with the county.
Thank you for that clarification, Tom. Does anyone have any questions for the treasurer?
No.
Nope. All right, moving forward, we got committee and subcommittee reports. Does anyone have a committee? I know you do. Well, how about we save you? Does any, before we get to Terry, does anyone else have a?
Parks, I went to Parks also.
Okay.
No, just Parks, it was fun. Parks is always fun.
All right.
We didn't have a whole lot to decide. I think they made Terry Nelson like a Parks Committee, Parks Manager, ad valorem or something like.
Was she added to the?
Valedictorian, made her a valedictorian member. And they're gonna add the tree people, they're gonna add the tree people, the Friends of Williamston Park. There's a
So,
tree group, you know,
the folks that are working on, I'm forgetting his name. Jack Smith, who
Yeah.
has started the tree nursery, he's now going to start working with Friends of Williamston Park.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good matchup there.
Yep.
So that sounds like Parks, and then I know you also wanted to discuss NISA. You had a
Yeah,
NISA meeting.
okay, I'll do this quickly, but it just hit me, I think it was, over the weekend anyway, it hit me, because last week we had a NISA meeting, right? And so at NISA, there's a report that goes to all the people on the NISA board. This is for 1 month of NISA expenditures, this is what they give you, 6 pages, right?
Yep.
And there are lots of fields on here, but the thing that tells you what they actually spent the money on is about 8 words across. Okay, these other fields are kind of pointless things. So this is for 1 month for an organization with an annual budget of about $4 million, right? This is for 2 weeks for Williamson City. This is an organization with a budget of $3 million a year. This is for just 2 weeks. In addition to this, there's a 32-page report that Tom put into our packet there on the state of the budget as of the end of last month, comparing to last year. And then within this, let me do just one thing. And this is, I'm doing this in part to say that you guys are doing an amazing good job. The corresponding thing is that NISA does a poor job. Okay, this is the city credit card, okay? For every expenditure on the city credit card, there is something like this that has the initials of the person who spent the money, the initials of Tom, the initials of Ann, who checked it and assigned it to a city code within the budget, okay? The corresponding thing for that, for NISA, is page 6 right here. That's this guy, and this is another one of those 8 words in the middle, large zones that tell you stuff you don't really care about, and then this 8-word thing in the middle that says what they spent the money on. No receipts, no initials, it does say who spent the money.
Is there a double check process like we have?
Like, is there a member of the NISA board who goes through the receipts and things like that before a meeting? Do you know if that's a part of?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of.
There might be somebody, I've been at NISA about a year and a half now, I've not heard anything like that at all.
I know you were working on trying to get on the finance committee for NISA, and if you couldn't do that, at least start attending those subcommittee meetings.
Yes.
Maybe that's something to bring up at the finance committee, or even if it's not successful there, bringing it up at a NISA board meeting. Hey, this is what we do at the city of Williamston when it comes to paying our bills and keeping checks and balances with the bills. Would we like to look at that, maybe see what the village does? Does the village do something similar to this, or do they do it similar to what NISA does? Because all the different municipalities that make up NISA have to pay their bills somehow. How do they, and does it line up with the way that NISA is doing it? Maybe either at the finance committee, because I know you've been trying to deal with that, or if that doesn't work out, that's just my suggestion, that's just my thought. Did you have anything else you wanted to report from NISA?
Yeah, so apparently there is going to be an audit of NISA's finances. There wasn't one last year, they weren't able to find an auditor in time. The auditor that has done their books in the past, I think he retired or something like that, so he was not available for comment. So there wasn't an audit last year, but they're in the process of doing an audit now. So, The NISA people watch these recordings of the city council thing. They've quoted back to me things that I've said at council meetings to demonstrate what a mean person I am. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna watch this and they're gonna see this and they're gonna be offended. But I would encourage NISA in a public way to be more like Williamston and less like this minimum thing.
Well, if they're offended, that's just more reason to be suspicious, in my opinion.
And it does increase my
Instead of
suspicion.
instead of reacting in a reasonable way, explanatory way that
Yeah.
says, Terry said this, and let me explain to you why Terry's wrong, okay, without emotion. It's
Yeah,
not needed, okay, we just need the facts.
and I'm ready to hear
If they're not doing
something.
that, then there's reason to be suspicious.
There is reason to be suspicious. I didn't use the word corruption, okay? But there is reason to be suspicious, and I am
So
suspicious.
what would our process be to find out or alter a process that we perceive to be inappropriate?
So I think what has to happen is what we discussed earlier. NISA is made up of a board member of different municipalities that all belong to it.
Right.
And they would have to, Terry is our voting representative on the NISA board, and he and the other members of the NISA board with representatives of all the different municipalities would have to decide as a voting board that they wanted to change something. Just like we have to, as a unit here, decide and vote on the things we want to here. Which is why I gave him the suggestions that I did about that. I think we're gonna move on from that. We're going to, no one else has any subcommittee reports, correct? All right. We have another opportunity for audience participation. Very good?
Just one quick, did you guys talk about action item B, Jubilee fireworks? I didn't hear it.
We did.
Okay, I just
Yep, that
fell
was-
asleep at that point.
Everyone else is good. All right, we are going to move on to council member comments. We'll start down here with Councilman Haynes.
No comment. I want to thank Terry for substituting for me for Parks and Recreation. It had been almost 3 months, you'd think I could attend a meeting, but I still have it. I came home with a plague, and he graciously filled in, so, thank you.
One more thing on the NISA thing.
Yep.
You guys have made this process right here, which I think is very, very admirable. You guys have made this, and it hasn't taken big motions by the council and yada yada. You just decided that you're gonna be open and forthright about your dollars. It doesn't take a big issue. NISA can be forthright about their dollars just by doing it. It's easy. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'm always impressed about the amount of grants that we get. That you guys do an incredible job of searching money, just getting it and getting it in here and doing a fantastic job with that. And I think the chief, you're like a step up, man. You are on top of everything, you're well organized, and now you've got this system in place and just the ease of use and all the things that are going on, and so it's great to have you as a chief.
Thank you.
Scott, do you have anything?
No, sir.
I would just like to echo Tim. We are blessed as a city with staff that is very, very gifted at grant writing, because that is a skill. It's not something that everyone is good at. You have to know the proper ways to put together a grant, the proper, even what to apply for. Those are things that that our staff is very gifted at, and they do a wonderful job applying for all these different grants, doing the things they need to see a lot of these tax dollars come back to the city of Williamston. We're very lucky to have that, and it's amazing how diligent our staff is with seeking those things out. And I appreciate that. On that note, we are going to adjourn tonight's council meeting at 6:54.
Good job. Meeting is